You negotiate a lot of deals too. Would this be your tactic?
Well, it isn't mine at all. I've had a consistent way of negotiating, and that has its advantages. Probably has its disadvantages too. But I just say what I'll do, and I don't do anything else. So people really know that's what I mean, and they can decide whether what I've said is acceptable or not. There's lots of people in acquisitions that really like to play games, and they're used to it in their own business, and it's their way of doing it, and that's fine, but it doesn't work with me. And I don't want to, I can't afford to spend the time on it. I mean, you don't know whether you're ever going to get there, and you spend weeks and months, and it's just, it would be a huge time waster if we did it.
You know, I don't know that this is bluster coming from President Trump, though. He's already put the tariffs on. And I don't know that I would take this lightly and think that we're not going to be seeing 25% tariffs on Friday.
You can't, but if you're playing the game, you have to sound that way. I mean, if with some people in negotiations, the best technique is to act half crazy. I mean, with your kids, you can see how it works. You're negotiating things with your children all the time. I'm going to count to 3, and if you don't do this and that, they know you're not going to shoot them in the end. So they've really got the edge, and that goes on all the time. And it's interesting, kind of, with the reputation of the industry. We bought a very large auto dealership operation a few years ago. We named the price, and probably 20 times since then, people come out and they say we want to do something, and it's just part of their lives to negotiate, and it's part of my life not to negotiate. So
you mean to come in with a high offer and
sure.
expect that you're going to negotiate?
Yeah, anything you say, and I understand that. I mean, that's the way a lot of things take place, but probably a majority of transactions, but it's nice to have a reputation for not doing it because it makes it a lot easier. You save a lot of time.
Many years ago, I was involved in a negotiation with General Motors, and General Motors had produced all Oldsmobile cars. These Oldsmobile cars had this rocket Olds engine. It was like a good engine. It could go from 0 to 60 in 6 seconds, 8 seconds. People wanted this car. It was a hot car. It was selling like crazy. General Motors ran out of rocket Olds engines. And so instead of saying we have none, they said, people won't know. Let's put a Chevrolet engine in the Oldsmobile cars, which they did, and they sold a couple of million of those cars. But ultimately, the public found out about this, and there was a massive class action suit. And they wanted to settle this suit, and so they brought me in. And we were in this hotel, and all the General Motors brass were across the table from us, and their law firm, expensive law firm, and I sat across from them. And they said, okay, give us an offer. What do you want? And I didn't want to give it. I said, no, tell us what you're going to pay. So we were at a stalemate, and they didn't like my attitude. I wasn't humble enough. I'm not good at real excessive humility. And they say, look, you're in the business of giving speeches and consulting. We're the largest company in the world at that time. You keep up this attitude, Herb, you'll never work for General Motors again. You'll never work for our subsidiaries. Kiss your income goodbye. At this point, I stood up. I said, I'm 60 years of age. When I reflect on my life, I say it was a good life. I'm happy with my wife. I have healthy children. I'm grateful every day. I did much better than I thought I would do. And if I die tomorrow, I'd be happy, content. Had a good life, and never once in that life did I ever work for General Motors. So I don't care. I sat down. As soon as I sat down, I said, okay, $12 million. In other words, I conveyed an attitude of caring, but not that much. And that's what you have to do. You have to care, but not that much. And you say to yourself, this is a blip on the eternity of life. Will I remember this in 20 years? If the answer is no, hey, screw it, move on. And when you go into a negotiation with that kind of attitude, the other side senses it. You know, they think, well, this guy doesn't absolutely need us. He could walk out. I'm very happy to be here. I'm here, but hey, I got other options, other alternative. Life goes on. So that attitude really helps you tremendously as a negotiator. One of the things that I believe in negotiation which consists of two things: how you negotiate and what you're talking about. How is your demeanor, your manner, your way, and what is the content of the transaction, how profitable it'll be, the terms, all right? And so the how you approach people should always be in an amicable fashion with what I call a low-key pose of calculated incompetence, all right? In other words, one of the things I try to do is make the other side feel superior to me. In some cases, it's very difficult to do, but I really try. Also, if I make a concession to the other side, I always get something in return, all right? I just don't make a concession. See, because if you make a concession to the other side, you say, well, be a nice guy. They very often see giving them something for nothing is a sign of weakness. And instead of making them happy and amenable to making this deal, they think this guy's stupid. I can victimize him. And as you pointed out, the more they invest, the harder it is for them to divest. I'll give you an example. When I work in Vegas or I go to Las Vegas, I like to watch people play the slot machine. So I go to the area where the guy's playing the slot machines. And I'm watching him. He keeps putting in dollars. He keeps losing. You know, I watch him 30 times put in a dollar. Nothing comes back. So I say to him, excuse me, sir, did you ever think of trying another slot machine? And he says, are you kidding? This one is due. Okay, this one's due. I said, could I play it? No, this is my machine. He's invested in a machine. And once you invest, it's hard for them to divest. So that's what you want to do in a negotiation. You want people to spend time, and whatever the reason for spending time. They're spending time because they think this guy's weak. I could conquer this guy. Eventually, they have so much investment, it's really difficult to walk away, especially in today's world, is a negotiation. Because leadership is, how do you get people to do voluntarily those things that must be done? And say, the guy, well, he said, he's the CEO. He just tells them and they do it. You're thinking the way it was 30 years ago. Because people today, employees today, number one, they think they have power, okay? And if you think you got it, even if you don't have it, you got it. The second thing is they think they got options. There are other jobs. Now, there may not be other, but they think. And so this is the workforce you're dealing with. therefore, what a CEO has to do if he's going to be successful is he's got to get people involved. Why? Because people support that which they help create. If they've been involved in the decision, they want it to succeed. If, on the other hand, you tell them what you're going to do, it's your decision. So it fails, you made a mistake.